regardless of the level of momming that you are doing, I don't care how amazing of a mom that you are not immune to mom guilt, okay? And most moms feel a lot of guilt when it comes to taking a getaway, taking a momcation, taking a vacation without their kids, right? So if that is you, then you need to stick around in this video, because I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can reject mom guilt and take the trip that you need and the trip that you want, right? So sometimes, me personally, I also feel mom guilt. Hell, I feel mom guilt on a regular basis sometimes when I don't put my kids to bed and they're whining about it, and my husband's putting them to bed because I'm doing stuff in my business or whatever it is, right? I've heard Black moms say, they can't be away from their kids except for a certain amount of days, right? Usually that's not rooted in absolute just I love these kids so much. It's usually rooted in mom guilt, right? Mom guilt is really just a part of momming. Like, it's a part of it. Like, tantrums are a part of momming, right? Or like changing clothes out. Like, when your kids get big, you gotta change their clothes out, right? Or crying, right? Just kids crying. That's just a part of momming, right? So when you have mom guilt, nothing has gone wrong, right? I want y'all to know nothing has gone wrong. However, when you let mom guilt run your life, when you let mom guilt drive your decisions, when you let mom guilt keep you stuck in the house, right? When you want to get away, when you need a getaway, when you deserve a getaway, that's when we have a problem. That's when you're on the fast track to burnout, okay? So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 ways that I crush mom guilt on sight. The very first way that I crush mom guilt on sight is that I choose to intentionally remember and affirm what I am doing. So mom guilt is always tied to what you're not doing, right? It's like, oh, I'm not spending enough time, I'm not cooking enough, I'm not playing enough, it's always tied to what you're not doing, right? And so a lot of times I crush mom guilt by really shifting my thoughts and thinking about what is the impact I'm really making in my daughter's lives every day, right? As opposed to me thinking about what I'm not doing, let me think about what I am doing, right? I am present almost every single day, like in their life. I'm a conscious parent, so I'm guiding them in all the areas, right? I'm guiding them in their womanhood. I'm guiding them in their academics. I actually am homeschooling right now, so I'm guiding them in, just their learning process, right? I am really a conscious parent. I'm guiding them in their emotional development, right? I'm providing for them financially. I'm creating moments and memories with them. I'm loving on them every single day, individually and together, right? And so once I shift my mind into thinking, what am I doing? What impact am I making, as opposed to what I'm not doing? I'm able to shut that mom guilt down, right? Let's shut it down, right? Let me just think about, here's some questions. Are your children well taken care of, right? How am I an amazing mom? Like, ask yourself, like, how am I an amazing mom, as opposed to just letting that mom guilt ruminate in your spirit? Like, how are you an amazing mom? Do you believe your kids are well taken care of, right? Those are the things that I reflect on when mom guilt shows up, and that's how I shut it down, right? Another thought that I have and I allow myself to think whenever I am in the space of like, what am I not doing, is always like, I'm doing my best, and that's exactly what my kids need, right? They need me to be doing my best, right? And if I am in a space of doing my best, then I'm good, right? And hello, sometimes doing my best requires me to take a break and get away, right? And take a break in a momcation or a vacation with my boo, right? So that I can show up as my best. So I'm not going to allow this guilt of what I'm not doing simmer in my spirit, right? So that's the first thing that I do in order to crush mom guilt on sight, is I choose to intentionally remember and affirm what I am doing, as opposed to focusing on what I'm not doing, right? The other thing that I do is I unfollow, I unfriend, and I unlearn all of the versions of momming that do not align with me, right? There are a lot of versions of what motherhood should be like, whether they come from your family, your friends, yourself, the TV, sitcoms you used to watch, all of the things, right? So like, you need to think and challenge. One of the things I challenge, like, my beliefs. Are they real for me? Because I am an individual, right? So regardless of how whoever is momming, like, I need to be momming in the way that best aligns with me and who I am, right? And allowing that version of momming to be the version of momming that I put up, right? So I'm not getting stuck in the versions and the standards that others have set. Instead, I create my own, right? I am probably the least domestic woman you will ever meet. Like, I don't like to cook, I don't like to clean, and they don't feel therapeutic to me. Like, it's just not who I am, right? And I don't make that a thing that, you know, the majority of the time my husband is the person who's cooking for our family because he enjoys it. It ain't a thing for me. I don't feel no type of way about it because that's not my standard of mom, and whoever's standard it is, feel free to do it, boo. That's just not what I do. So, and I don't hold myself to that standard and then allow myself to judge myself based on that standard, right? I just I unlearned that completely, right? Question your expectations of yourself, right? Are you trying to live up to a rule that you heard or a rule that you saw? Or is the expectation really something that is true for you, right? I just think that is one of the best things that I have done, right? Like, stop following all of these unreal versions of momming. Like, when you used to watch cartoons, or like you used to watch Cosby Show and Family Matters and all these other shows that show you like this is what mom is like, that is probably running in the back of your mind, and that's the standard you're holding yourself to, and you're probably judging yourself about it. Whether you're watching moms online as well, like if you're watching moms on Instagram and you're feeling, you know, envious or that you're not able to do it, unsubscribe, unfollow. Like, no, that's not your version of momming. Allow yourself to mom the way you mom alone, right? And don't judge it. Take your foot, I like to tell my friends, like, take your foot off your own neck. Because we as moms, we really do have our foot on our own neck sometimes. Like, we're just judging, like just judging all the things. Take your foot off your own neck. Lower your expectations of yourself. Do less, right? And enjoy it. And allow yourself to just be there in that space, right? Shift your mom circle to moms who are absolutely okay with you being the version of the mom that you want to be, like, that help you to set realistic expectations for yourself. That's the people who are in my mom circle, honey. They like, girl, take the trip. Or girl, don't feel that type of way about yourself. You doing a good job, right? Those are the people who I surround myself for. My mother actually is somebody who says a full belly is a full belly, right? And what she means by that is, like, if your kids didn't have a home cooked meal and it wasn't 3 courses and all this fabulousness, it doesn't matter. Did they eat? Are they full? Was it peanut butter and jelly? Are they full? All right, good. You don't have to worry about it. Like, a full belly is a full belly, because sometimes kids just gonna be eating something. It ain't gotta be a whole meal, right? So surround yourself with more people who do that and who are not judgmental, right? If you have people in your circle who are judgmental, get them out of there, honey, because, you know, it's super important to have people who are going to support you in your circle. The thought I like to think is, like, there's a girl who's on Instagram, but I think she used to be on YouTube. I don't know. I think it was TikTok. Who knows? But she has a saying like, "Bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job," right? And she's talking to moms like, stop judging yourself. You're doing a good job, right? You're doing a good job, and it's okay, right? The third thing that I do in order to crush mom guilt on site is that I really plan intentional things to do with my kids ahead of time, right? So we talked about reflecting on the things that I'm doing. But the reason why I can reflect on the things and really like pat myself on the back is because ahead of time, I'm really planning intentional things to do with them, right? My values are connection, their communication, their emotional safety, right? Emotional maturity and quality time with my children. Like, it's important for me to instill those values into them. And, you know, I do that by adding things into their day-to-day and their week-to-week that align with those values. Now, I'm not doing it all the time, right? I'm like, let me try to do 3 things, and maybe I'm doing 2 things a day, but I'm intentionally doing that, right? So before, after school, when they were in school, I used to send them off to school, say goodbye, set intentions with them, have a good day, make sure that you try again, right? Make sure you follow directions. I love you. That type of thing is important, right? Or the afternoon when they came back, like, I would allow them to potentially like work on their tablet, but we would have some conversation over dinner as opposed to like everybody being on some sort of electronic, like, and we would actually talk in order to build their communication. Like we would do we do activities together. We do Play-Doh. We do pretend. We read books, right? Every evening I put them to bed and I do wind down and I talk to them about like, how was your day and what do you want to share? These are all very intentional things that I do so that when mom guilt shows up, I'm like, look at your resume. Look at your resume, girl. You're doing a good job. Like, it's going to be shut down right now, right? Every weekend, we spend 2 hours together as a family. Me, True, Tawanda, and Free all spend time together on purpose. Because when it comes time for me to reflect, I want to be like, oh, like, yep, I'm doing a great job. These are the things. I'm doing a great job. So when mom guilt shows up, I remind myself of all the things that I've done, right? Like I'm giving 90% of my time, right? So they will be all right. They might be sad, but they will be all right. And it doesn't set a standard of what I am doing as a mom or not, whether or not they are sad, right? That I may be going to take a break. That does not tell me if I'm a good mom. What tells me if I'm a good mom is if I can look at my resume, right? And I can see these are the things that I'm doing to intentionally be able to do these things for them in their life. Now, the caveat, if this is like 2 to 3 things is enough, right? You don't have to be a whole bunch of stuff. Set that as a standard. 2 to 3 things is enough. And I can do a few things and pat myself on the back, right? My worth or my goodness as a mom is not tied to what I do for them. I don't give myself a reason to judge myself if I can't do these things, right? It's not that. These are like, I'm setting an intention, I'm moving toward it, and then when the mom guilt shows up, I'm actually being like, okay, like these are the things that I have done, and it's absolutely okay, so that when it's time for me to take a momcation or a vacation, I can just go, and I'm like, I've done the things, like I show up 90% of the time, actually 100% of the time, so I can take this time away, right? There's no reason for me to feel guilty, because I know that I'm momming at a high level, right? I'm momming at a high level, so I'm able to maintain my identity as a woman, and I'm able to crush mom guilt on sight, and be able to just, use these things to let me and let me know that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So, honey, clearly I just had to switch it up real quick because, again, I told y'all I'm not the most domestic person, so my housekeeper had to go clean our room, and so now I'm in the other office. But, I mean, these are the things that happen when you are a mom doing the things, all right? So those are the 3 things that I do in order to be able to crush mom guilt on sight, right? Like I'm choosing to intentionally remember, what am I doing well? Like what impact am I making in their life, as opposed to focusing on what I feel like I'm not doing well, right? I'm unfollowing, unfriending, unlearning all of the unreal versions of momming, whether they coming from me or whether they coming from other people who are in my circle. And then I also am planning intentional things to do with them so that anytime mom guilt shows up, like I'm able to read the resume. Like, let me just read my resume because clearly I'm doing my job, right? I'm doing a good job, right? So these are some of the things that I suggest that you do in order to crush mom guilt on sight. If you don't know, like if you feel like I am unable to do it, Inez, like I still feel guilty about it, right? I still feel like some type of way about going on a trip without my kids, right? And you're not able to crush mom guilt on sight, and you want to be able to consistently do it, right? It's something that you want to be able to do so that you can take the getaway, you can take the momcation, you can take the vacation with your boo, right? I'm going to give you 2 places that you can go to do that, right? So the first place is, I want you to join the Getaway, right? The Getaway is my trip for moms who need a break, right? Need a getaway, right? And the one-on-one coaching to help you make it happen. Okay, so it's a pre-planned trip. You ain't got to worry about creating an itinerary, planning it, putting it together, none of that. It's a pre-planned trip put together on purpose so that you don't have to remove that as an obstacle, remove that as a problem. And it's the support that you need to follow through on taking the trip, right? Because a lot of times people will plan trips for you. It's a group trip somebody planned, or there's another, a girls trip that your friends are planning. And so you don't have to plan it, but planning is not the only problem that you run into, right? So this is the trip and the support you need to overcome all of the other problems, right? And be able to follow through and take the trip, right? It's the accountability that you're going to need and the tools that you're going to need to crush mom guilt, right? On site when it shows up. so that you can keep a getaway on your calendar, right? That's the goal of the getaway. It's not just a trip, it's really a transformation, right? I have seen that travel has transformed my life before and after motherhood, right? I met my husband on a trip, and I also transformed my marriage to my husband on a trip, right? So that is what the getaway is. It's not just a trip, it is a transformation. Like, I coach moms, Black moms, on taking the trips they want to take, whether it's a momcation, a vacation, even potentially a family vacation, but you know, the travel with the kids gonna come. That's gonna happen easily, right? I really want to focus on travel without the kids, right? I want to focus on showing up for yourself as just the woman so that you can show up as the mom you want to be, right? That's what I've been able to do for myself. And I'm not like an exceptional, person. Like, it's not like only I could do it. Like, I'm just somebody who is committed to figuring it out, like to making it work and making it happen for myself. And that is what I also want to do for other moms, because it's not that just we need the break. We really deserve a break. Like, you really deserve a break. You are somebody who values parenting. You show up for your kids consistently, and now it's time to show up for yourself consistently, right? And the way I do that is, I have been able to figure out how to easily advise myself on, how can I make my trips a 10 out of 10 for me? How can I get out of it what I want, what I need, right? Be my own travel advisor. I really get I lean into my deep understanding for how to leverage the top booking sites to confidently know how to find the deals that I want to take, the deals that I need in order to go on a trip. And then I also have incorporated habits into my life, and that I created another video talking about the habits that you need in order to take a trip. So in order to take a getaway as a mom, right, to travel without your kids, the habits you need to travel without your kids, I'll link it up here. But basically, like, I have incorporated those habits into my life, so I've set myself up to confidently take the trips without my kids whenever I decide that I want to go, right? And because of that, I'm on my 4th momcation this year, right? I'm going to Bali with my best friend and some of her friends to celebrate her birthday. And this is not a normal year. I'm not always going by myself 4 times a year, but I have been able to do it because of the things that I've created, the habits that I have in my life every day. So that's what I can teach you to do. Like, I can teach you how to do that as well. If you need to take a getaway, if you want to take a getaway, momcation, vacation, right? And you really need some help committing to it, right? Committing to creating space in your life to be able to just be a woman, I can help you do that, right? So that you can show up better as a mom. I can help you do that. So make sure you join the getaway. It's at internationalinez.com/thegetaway. Right? The goal is to be able to teach you how to keep a getaway on your calendar. If that's something that you want to do, make sure you go and shine up there. In the getaway, we're going to work together on crushing mom guilt on site. We're going to work together on the tools you need to overcome any financial, logistical, or life problems that are coming up along the way that are stopping you. And then we're going to plan your next 2 getaways. So we're going to have the getaway, right, together as a unit. And then we're going to plan your next 2 trips. Whether you know what those 2 trips are or you don't, we're going to work together to make sure that you have them, and that you're going to have one of them booked, right? We want to have one of them booked. So you're also going to be able to meet other moms just like you. Moms who love their kids, who love momming, who, being a parent is a very important part of their life, but also being a woman and being an individual is also a very important part of their life too, right? And who love to travel and want to travel. You're going to be able to have a new tribe of Black travel moms, okay? So make sure you go. Again, the link is down in the description. It's internationalinez.com/thegetaway, right? So that's the first place you can go. The second place that you can go in order to be able to really find out how to consistently crush mom guilt, right, and be able to take the trips that you want to take without your kids is signing up for my email list, right? This is the place that you are going to be able to have first access to the trips that I'm hosting for moms, the tips that I'm sharing specifically for Black moms to be able to take the trips they want to take without their kids, and also the 1-day momcation, vacation, virtual summit for Black moms, right? I am going to be hosting an online summit. And it's going to be, the place for Black moms who are planning to travel without their kids, right? Whether you're going by yourself, whether you're going with your girls, whether you're going with your boo, that is going to be the summit for you, okay? I'm going to have sessions to be able to inspire you. I'm going to be having speakers who are going to be moms who are doing it, moms who are involved in their kids' lives every day to day, right? Who momming is just as important to them as it is to you, but they also make time to be just themselves and travel the world and do the things and take the breaks that they need, okay? You're also going to have access to the resources that you can use to make this getaway, to make this vacation, right? This girls trip that you want to take a reality this year, right? So make sure you click the link in my description, sign up for my email list, because you want to be in the know, and I'm going to be dropping all of the details just to those people, right? Okay, y'all, so that's it, and that is all. I hope this video helps you to crush mom guilt on site, okay? Drop me a comment and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. What is something you're going to implement in order to crush mom guilt, honey, because it got to go, because, bitch, you're doing a good job, okay? Also, if you enjoy these types of videos and you want to learn more about how to travel without your kids as a mom, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm going to be talking all about the things that I do to take individual trips, girls trips, vacations without my children, right here. Also, if you're someone who wants to see more of me making it happen in my life, because honey, I am also a mother and a wife as well, and I am juggling and juggling. So if you want to see more of me doing that, make sure you go follow me at International Inez on Instagram. That's where I share all the things that are going on in the haps in my life. And I hope to see you here again. But until we meet, until I see you again, stay tripping.